Alright, so today you guys are going to be making a chicken sandwich, but before we can actually make the sandwich, you guys are going to be marinating your chicken breast. For this lab, the focus that we're going for here is we want to talk about savory cooking. Now, savory cooking is basically choosing the flavors and the amount of those flavors that you want for whatever meat or it is that you are prepping. So today I'm going to be using a chicken breast, and I have chosen to do the Asian panel. So when you guys look at the document here that your teacher is going to show you, you're going to see there's a bunch of different options, and those different options have different flavors and different ingredients based on the style that they are. So you might choose something like Greek, you might choose Italian. I'm going to be choosing Asian today. So on my left-hand side, you can see I have lots of spices here, and then on my right-hand side, I have some liquid. You want to make sure that you're choosing an equal amount of both. So I've got a couple different options here. I've got a rice wine vinegar, I've got soy sauce, and then I have sesame oil, all of which are from the Asian flavor family. On my left-hand side, I have a wide variety of some dried spices. You're gonna take one chicken breast and a baggie, and I'm gonna go ahead and put my chicken breast into my baggie. And I don't wanna touch it, so I'm just gonna slide it in this way. And then from here, I'm ready to start adding in my spices and my seasonings. So this is 100% to taste. So you're basically going to decide how much you want and which ones you're going to use. Don't feel like you have to use all of them, and there's no specific way of doing this. Again, it's just what you feel like you're interested in doing. I always encourage students to smell things before they do them because it gives you an idea of what the flavor might be in the end. So I'm gonna pick up some cumin here, and if I open this up and give it a smell, to me it gives it like a chili type of smell. That's what I'm smelling from this a lot. So I think I'm just gonna put just a nice splash of some cumin in here. Okay, perfect. In addition to this, I love garlic. It's one of my favorite spices. I use it on everything, so I definitely want to use quite a bit of garlic here. We've also got things like cilantro and basil, and I prefer basil over cilantro. That's just my personal preference, so I'm going to put a splash of that. And then the last two here are ginger and turmeric. They're very strong flavors for the Asian cuisine. So I think I'm going to use a little bit more ginger than I am turmeric, and I'm actually going to put a hefty amount in here for this. And then lastly, just a splash of turmeric on top. Turmeric has a very strong flavor, so I don't want to put very much on there. And then I'm going to end with my dried spices there. Before adding my liquids, I'm actually going to seal this up and give it a little bit of a shake so I can make sure that all those flavors get all over my chicken breast. I'm going to open it back up here, and I'm going to add in my liquids now. I'm going to add a splash of sesame oil. And definitely some soy sauce. Now the thing about soy sauce, it is very, very salty, so I'm gonna make sure not to put too much in here, but I definitely want that soy sauce flavor that's traditionally known for its Asian. There we go. Okay, so from here I'm gonna seal this up really, really good, give it a nice shake, and this is gonna get stored in the fridge overnight so that tomorrow you can cook it on your skillet and turn it into your chicken sandwich. Now the reason why we're storing it overnight is because overnight that means all these flavors are gonna meld into this chicken, and the chicken's going to absorb it so that when I cook it and take it out of the marinade, it's gonna be really, really flavorful on my chicken sandwich. So we'll be back tomorrow. We are on day 2 of the lab now. You guys are going to be cooking your chicken sandwich today. I'm using the electric stovetop right now, so I've already got my pan heated up, and I'm starting at a medium temperature. If you are using the gas stovetop, you want to make sure that you're starting at a much lower temperature because the heat is quite a bit higher. So to my pan, I'm going to add just the smallest amount of oil. Now again, because I'm doing the Asian flavor, I'm going to use the sesame oil that I used yesterday, but otherwise you want to make sure you're using just a little bit of vegetable oil in this, just enough to make sure that it's not going to stick. Okay, and then to this, I'm going to go ahead, and after rolling it around in my pan to make sure it coats it completely, I'm going to go ahead and add my chicken breast. And you can hear that little bit of sizzle, which means my pan is ready to go, and we're going to go ahead and let this cook, and I'll show you what it's like when half of it is done. Alright, so this has been cooking for about 4 minutes, and I still have it on medium heat, and I can tell that I'm ready to flip it because I can see that on the outside edge here, it's starting to turn white. So that's telling me that it's starting to cook on the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and flip it over, and I was right. And you can see that it's nice and golden brown on some of the higher rise points, but even these low rise points like down here that weren't directly touching the pan are that nice white color. So I know that I'm going to be cooking. I'm going to cook it on this side for about another 4 to 5 minutes. And then I'm going to check it with my thermometer to make sure it is at 165 degrees. Okay, so this has been cooking for about another 3 to 4 minutes on here, and I've got my thermometer, and I'm ready to check and make sure that it's done. So how we're going to use the thermometer is I'm going to pick the fattest part of my chicken, which is this side over here. I want to stick my thermometer in but I don't want to push it all the way to the bottom of the pan. If I push it to the bottom of the pan, I'm actually testing the temperature of the pan, not the temperature of the inside of the chicken breast. So I'm checking my temperature here, and what I'm looking for is to make sure that it is to 165 degrees. That is the safe temperature for poultry. It's at that temperature, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out. And I know that I'm going to be ready to go. My other side is nice and golden brown. All right, so I am done. I am now finished cooking my chicken breast, and I'm ready to assemble my sandwich. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take just a little mayonnaise packet here, and this is optional. Don't feel like you have to use it. So I've got my mayonnaise packet here. I'm just gonna put a little bit on the bottom of my bun here, and then use a spork to rub it around to make sure every bite has some mayonnaise in it. On top of this, I'm going to put a slice of tomato, and I just did a nice thin slice on this. A piece of romaine lettuce, and then my chicken breast right on top. Top it off with your bun, and your marinated chicken sandwich is done and ready to eat. Enjoy!